Alright, hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Casey, and today I'm doing a reading for you guys all about what is your soul's deepest desire. What does your soul love, and what do you want to do here? When you've decided to incarnate in this world, in this time, in this place, what is it that you desired to experience the most? And that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. So for you here, I have three different readings to choose from. For pile one, I have this Labradorite crystal. I hope you can see it. It has this one little blue spot that I thought was so cool. You know, even though that there was like, shinier ones, I just really like this one. I hope you can see it. It's so cute. And for pile two, I have this green aragonite. I also hope it's in focus. This one's so pretty. I wasn't gonna buy this one, but I literally just saw it and I had to grab it. And then finally, we have this dendritic agate. Also super pretty. I just love that color. But anyways, go ahead, pause, take a moment, figure out which pile you feel most drawn to. I'll also move these here. Some people like to just look at the cards or just the crystals individually, so yeah, that's for those of you that enjoy doing that. But anyways, I've left timestamps in the description below, so you can quickly jump to whichever reading is for you. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, pile one. If you chose the Labradorite, then this is going to be the reading for you. And I've already pre-shuffled your cards. I kind of wish that I had shuffled them on camera, even though that kind of like takes time. But I don't know, it all lined up a little bit too perfectly. I feel like sometimes I need to shuffle it on camera so people aren't like, are you sure you're not just picking those cards? But anyways, what is your soul's deepest desire? I have a few different things here for you, not just one thing, and I think that speaks to who you are as a person. First of all, when the Knight of Swords first popped out, it literally like flew, and it flew off the table onto the floor, and it was just kind of like staring at me, and it's like, okay, this person likes to move. This person does not stay still or stagnant, and I feel like you are the type of person that loves to have your blood pumping. You love to almost thrill seek. And for some, this could be like, for some of you, you're an adrenaline junkie, you love to like, I don't know, skydive and stuff like that. But for others of you, I feel like you just love the exhilarating feeling of being alive. Like, I'm just imagining, like, as simple as running on a treadmill or riding a bike, like when you feel your blood pumping, you feel your heart pounding, that's when you know you're alive and you get this sense of euphoria. Some of you might even be runners. I've never experienced runner's high, but it's something that I hear runners talk about, or people in general talk about. And it's like, I guess, a feeling of euphoria that runners get when they run like really far or like really hard, which to me doesn't make sense because I will run and I will literally feel like passing out and throwing up. But I don't know, that seems like a nice thing to be able to experience. And I feel like you're that type of person where when your blood is pumping, you feel that adrenaline, your eyes are wide, and it's almost like you sparkle, like you feel so imbued with life, like you just have a life energy that you want to explode, and you have no outlet for it except for when your blood is pumping and you're, I don't know, experiencing life at the fullest. And I also feel like another meaning I get from this Knight of Swords is you are one to carve out your own path. You do not do well when you're just a follower. You are not necessarily a leader, but somebody that just, marches to the beat of their own drum. You're very much carving out your own path. Not to be a trailblazer for others, but just because you want to trailblaze. Like, I feel like you'll see a trail on like a hiking path, and you'll be the type of person to say, no, I'm gonna go off the path. I wanna go where other people have never gone before. And I feel like you're the type of person where, whether you realize it or not, rejections, especially like I'm getting in the world, like job offers and stuff like that, when you face rejections, it just seems as another way for you to find like, okay, I'll just find another path. You're very much the kind of person that loves to trailblaze and explore on your own. And, this might be tough, especially if, I don't know if you're watching this from a different country, but here in America, everything is very 9 to 5. You're supposed to follow the path of You go through school, you graduate high school, you go to college, and you get a job. But you are very much the type of person to say, no, I want to go sell beads, or I want to backpack around the world, and I don't know, I want to be a train conductor. Like you want to do different things, and you follow what makes your heart beat, you know? I don't know, I get this feeling of like excitement, like you just have this energy within yourself. I'm like feeling it in my solar plexus. That's supposed to be what chakra is that? That's the one that's like where your self-empowerment comes from and your confidence and your ability to like drive forward. And I just feel like so much energy in there. Like you're the type that you're just like a train just plowing forward. You have so much life force energy and you feel most at home when your blood is pumping and you can feel life. That's the best way that I can explain feeling life for you is when your blood is pumping and you're breathing in the air and you feel alive. I feel like that straight off the bat is one of your strongest desires. You are definitely the type of person to go where no one has gone before. You're a trailblazer and you love to feel alive. You hate to feel stagnant. You're not the type of person that can sit still for days on end and feel good. You only feel good when you feel like you're in movement, when you're changing, and when you feel exhilarated. Is that a word, exhilarated? Anyways, another thing I see here, which I almost got like, you have a knight here. I don't know if you know what a paladin is, but it's kind of like a knight in, I don't know if folklore is the right word. It's in like a lot of video games and stuff. It's like a class that's the knight, the protector. And here you have the Six of Cups clarified by protection. And this makes me think, you definitely have that side of you that loves to feel, your blood pumping, you love to feel life, and you love to be in movement constantly. But I think the softer side of you also is a protector. So for some of you, you might feel drawn to roles such as like firefighting or, well, it depends on your political beliefs, but, being a police officer or being in the military because you're the type that loves to protect those that can't protect themselves. With the Six of Cups, you see like this older child that's taking care of this younger child, and I feel like that's you. You're so selfless. It's like you'd give up your money, you'd give up things for people that you want to protect. And for some, this could be, maybe you have younger siblings, or maybe you go out of your way for strangers, but I feel like when you're helping other people and when you're the strong one that's protecting other people, that's when you feel most complete. It's almost like that feeling when, I don't know if you experience the same feeling, but when you do a good deed for someone and it just makes your heart feel full, I feel like that is also one of your soul's deepest desires, is you just love taking care of other people and protecting them and knowing that you're doing good for those in your community. You're definitely the protector archetype, I see that for sure. Which is funny to me because this Knight of Swords energy is very much like rushing off on their own, like doing their own thing, trailblazing their own path, and I feel like people, especially like younger people, really look up to you. I don't know if you have younger siblings, or even older siblings can still look up to you. I feel like you're definitely the one that people think is brave, that people think is powerful, and you're one to not really, take shit from other people. Like, you're gonna go out and do what you want to do, and you do it in such a way that people are like, wow, I want to be like them when I grow up, And I feel like you also you love protecting others. You're very, like, paladin energy. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but, like, it's like a D&D thing as well, Dungeons and Dragons. Sorry, I'm, like, kind of a nerd. But anyways, this final one with the tower kind of threw me for a loop because I was like, why would your soul desire tower moments? Because if you know the tarot, you know the tower card is like kind of the worst card that you can get in the deck. But I feel like even in moments of crisis, that's when your soul feels most invigorated. Like, you don't, like I said before, you don't thrive when things are stagnant. So even if something is like uprooting your life and it feels stressful, it's almost like you thrive best in stressful environments. Like you are the type of person where you can keep a calm, cool head in disasters. Like if I was going to be in like an earthquake or like a disaster event, I would want to be in that with you because I feel like you're the type of person that doesn't freak out and lose their head and cower in the corner. You're the person that would take charge, that, is getting out the flashlights and is like drawing on a map, like, okay, this is where we need to go. Like that is the environment in which you work at your best. So I'm definitely getting like a military as like careers that would invigorate you. Also like firefighters, because firefighters protect. They also, it's still like a conventional 9 to 5, but it's also different from average like civilian jobs. And things are always changing. You're never going to be bored as a firefighter. There's always something crazy that's going on. I'm trying to think of like other careers that you would feel invigorated in. Um, I could see like coaches for like sports teams, because not only do you get to protect the team and teach them and take care of them, but your blood is constantly pumping as a coach. Like you're training alongside them, and things are always changing. There's always like a new match to like be a part of, I guess. In America, we have football, not like soccer, like the type that you throw. The Super Bowl literally just happened. I'm filming this the day after Super Bowl Sunday, and like I don't know, I'm envisioning you like in the crowd screaming like for your favorite team, or I don't know, playing on the field, and like that's the kind of thing that would make you feel fulfilled. And I don't know, I'm just trying to come up with things that like maybe, because sometimes life takes us in a different direction than what our soul desires. And so we don't often get to do for a living what's in line with what our soul wants. Sometimes we feel so depressed in our day-to-day jobs and we're like, God, I wish I could be a firefighter. God, it would be so cool if I could be like a park ranger or something. And so that's something that you daydream about. But I don't know, I want to give different options of like, hey, it's still possible, you could do this or you could do that. If you're not able to do what makes your soul happy. For some people they're stuck like that. But for you, if you've been able to pursue these things and you're like, yeah, I'm living my best life, then I'm so happy for you, because that is so hard for so many people. Some people don't get to achieve that. But other things, like aside from career, that I see hobby wise is definitely being a part of sports. I feel like you're somebody that thrives off of like competitive energy. Um, it's giving Aries. I don't know if you have Aries in your chart, but Aries is very competitive, very fiery. Um, Another thing is like running, because again, that gets the blood pumping, but I don't know. I'm definitely seeing like you would thrive in like gym environments or on sports teams and stuff like that. And with the Tower card, I feel like if you had to choose a job for yourself, you would hate to just do a 9 to 5 that's literally doing the same job over and over again, day in, day out. Like, you need things to be constantly changing. You want to be able to wake up and be going to a different location for your job every day, I don't think that you're the type that would want to be in the same location. It would literally make you feel claustrophobic and begin to hate your life. Like, I feel like you're the type that would love traveling, but not just traveling to like some random resort or fancy hotel. Like, you are the type to stay in like a hostel, or, like stay at like some random person's house that's like, yeah, you can stay with me. Like, that's what your soul thrives off of. New experiences, things always changing, never staying in one place for too long. Protecting others, that's definitely what I'm getting for the softer side of you. You're definitely the strong one, and I think you thrive best in those roles. You're not one to, roll over and be like, I need somebody to take care of me. You're the one that steps up and you're like, I'll take care of you. And yeah, just whatever gets your blood pumping, that is what you enjoy most in life. I'm getting very like competitive soul. Definitely like maybe air sign or fire sign. I know air signs are definitely not one to be tied down. So you could have a very air or fire dominated chart, and you love to see where the wind will take you. So I don't know, I feel like I could keep ranting about all that. I know that I feel like this reading has gone by really quickly. I don't know how long it is. Honestly, I feel like I have so much energy from your reading that for all I know, this could be a really long reading and it just feels really short to me. But that's when I feel like your soul is at its happiest. That's when I feel like you're most invigorated and full of life, is when you're full of energy. You have so much energy within you, and when it just stagnates, it's like your whole body feels clogged up. And it's like you need that to move, you need it to circulate, you need it to be expressed and pushed out, and you have so much to give. So, pile one, I really hope that if you're not sure about what it is that you want to do in life, that you're able to do something that brings you this feeling, this adrenaline rush, or at least something that, is always changing, because I can't see you being happy in something that stays the same. Some people love routine, some people love comfort of being in the same place forever. But I feel like for you, it's like you can be in the same place for like a week max. Like that's pushing it, and you're like, I need to go. I need to be somewhere else. So, pile one, that is what I see for you. I wish you the best, and I hope that you're able to follow whatever dreams that you do have. Thank you for watching if you got this far. Please think about leaving a like or watching any other video on my channel. Honestly, supports me just as much as anything else. So if you see any other ones that you feel drawn to, feel free to check them out. I do post about once or twice a week, so feel free to subscribe if you want some more from me. And I do offer personal readings. There's a link in the description box below to my shop. But without further ado, that's all that I have for you. Pile one, I wish you the best. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. Alright, pile two. If you chose the green aragonite, then this is going to be the reading for you. And I still can't get over how beautiful this crystal is. Like, it's literally, I love the color. But anyways, I pre-shuffled all your cards. So here I just have 3 tarot cards clarified by 3 oracle cards. And for you, I have a few different things that kind of set your soul on fire. 3 different things that your soul really desires. And let's go ahead and get into them. Starting off with the 4 of Cups clarified by sweetness. I feel like this card is kind of talking all about how you are a very introspective kind of person. You really like to question yourself and dig deep about what makes you most feel fulfilled. And I feel like you're not one to rely on external sources of fulfillment. You're not one to rely on other people or objects or whatever. You understand that fulfillment comes from within, and I feel like this is something that you constantly search for within yourself. You're always trying to discover more about what makes you most fulfilled, because you understand that, you could try and go and buy a million things or search for other people, but at the end of the day, those just kind of add on to who you are right now. And if who you are right now isn't already fulfilled on your own, then it's kind of pointless. So you are the type of person that really searches internally for what makes you happy, what makes you excited and most fulfilled. And through that, I think that you've been able to discover the specific things that do make you feel that way. And with this sweetness card, it's almost like, I want to say that you're like your own best friend. And I don't mean that you don't have like other best friends in your life, but it's like, what it comes down to is, who do you love most, who do you care for most, and who is always going to be in your corner. And for you, you're like, me. I'm that person. I'm the person that's always in my corner. And I don't know, this is less about your soul's desire, I guess, in an external sense, and more in the way that, like, I feel like this is something that you've searched for a long time, and now that you've achieved it, it's like you already have what your soul desires, at least one of the things. The other things are, what you enjoy doing. But this one is, I feel like you've already reached it, or at least most of you have. You already have discovered the love that you have for yourself. You've already discovered the things that make you feel most fulfilled. And because of that, you're just very content in life. I feel like you don't really need to search too hard anymore, because you know that it all comes from within, And I feel like you have a good relationship with yourself in your own mind, within your own soul, I feel like that's a little bit hard to explain. It's very like, it's like something that you only understand when you felt it. And I feel like if you know what I'm talking about, it's because you feel it. You get this feeling in your soul and you understand. I might come back to this when I have more words about it, but moving on to the other two, because these are easier. With the Seven of Wands and Peace, at first I was like, these two don't exactly match up at all. Like, the Seven of Wands is all about, like, beating back opposing forces and constantly being on your toes and fending things off. How does that make you feel peaceful? But for you, I feel like it's more like you love to direct your energy in multiple directions at once. For some of you, I could see it as you would love to run a business. You would love to be a business person because you're at the top of things. You're directing all the different people. You're managing multiple different projects at once. Or it could be maybe you own a business that sells things. Like you love to work at the counter but also interact with the people. And I get this kind of sense that you feel your best when you're directing the energy that you have within yourself. Because I feel like you have a lot of energy and you only feel at peace when you're at work. And I don't mean like work like 9 to 5, but I mean like working on different tasks that make you feel energized, that make you feel fulfilled. So I'm kind of getting like you'd be your own boss kind of thing, because I feel like you're not the type to feel all that great when somebody else is telling you what to do. But it's not like you're like a slacker. Like I feel like you enjoy doing lots of things, but you want them to be things that you've chosen for yourself. So definitely getting like entrepreneur vibes, working for yourself, or just being your own boss or being the boss of other people. You don't really like to have people above you. But it's not like a stagnant energy. Like I don't think that you would want to just sit at home and not work at all. I feel like you're the type of person that feels best when you're able to put your energy towards projects and things. And another thing that I think ties into this is with the Seven of Pentacles and creativity. I feel like you are a very creative person. I feel like you love to create things, especially things that tap into that creative side that you have. For some people, this might be art. It could be writing, but I feel like you just love to create from whatever comes out of your brain. You're very unique and you have a unique way of thinking. And when you're able to take the things from within your brain and within your heart and bring them out into the world in like a 3D sense, be it like a sculpture or a painting or through photography or writing. I guess not photography because it's like capturing things that are already in the real world. But it's like you love to see the things that come from within you be out in the 3D, if that makes sense. And I feel like you're really good at it. Like, you could make money off of it. This could definitely be one of those things that you feel most at peace doing, like constantly creating, constantly seeing the things that start in your brain being created in the real world, if that makes sense. So I feel like if we were going to talk about like certain hobbies or jobs that would make you feel most fulfilled, I would say definitely being like an entrepreneur or your own boss. It could even be as simple as like running a shop because you're the one running it. I feel like you'd really enjoy being like a manager where you don't have other people managing you, but you delegate out the specific tasks that you want other people to do. You love to be a part of a well-oiled machine that you are in charge of. That's when you feel most at peace, when you are the one making things run smoothly. Also, aside from that, I see in the artistic sense, like you are the type that loves to create, to constantly be given the freedom to create. So journalism, especially if you're the one that's allowed to like choose the topics that you write about, or art, just crafting, creating. You could even combine the two and like run like a pottery shop or run a painting class or something like that, you know? I feel like you thrive best and your soul feels its most alive when you're creating and when you're in movement and when your energy isn't stagnant, when you're using it to get things done and you feel productive. That's what this card is about. That's the word I'm searching for, productive. You love productivity. You love to be in movement. you love being in charge of things, and it's very, I get like an analytical vibe from you. You love to figure out the most efficient way to do things and watch it be put into motion. You can also be into engineering if like artwork isn't your thing, like engineering the most, like if you took like a machine, like I'm thinking of like one of those really old computers. Like I just watched The Imitation Game. It's a movie about during World War II. This guy created like one of the first ever computers, and it was this giant thing that took up a whole room. I feel like you would see that giant machine and you would be like, how can I make this fit in my pocket? And you would keep engineering and reverse engineering until you could like rebuild it to be the most efficient thing possible. Like you love taking a problem and saying, how can I make this better? And then completely rebuilding it. Like even something as simple as like Legos. Like I feel like you are just that kind of builder type. You love to get things done, you love to be productive, you love efficiency, and you love it when you can intertwine creativity with that, where it's not the same thing all the time. You love to be able to put your own twist on things, and I feel like you have so many ideas in your head that you would love to see flourish in the real world and be created in the real world, but often I feel like we're not really given the opportunity for that. But I feel like you would do so well in an environment like that. So, back to this one. I feel like this is definitely different from these in the sense that these are like what are you physically doing in the 3D? But this is all about things that you do within your own mind. Like I'm thinking of that saying like I'm going into my mind palace. I don't know what that's from, but it was like a sound on TikTok or something recently. But I feel like not only do you love to be productive and creative and building things in the real world, but you also really like to retreat into yourself and meditate and introspect into your own mind. And I feel like a lot of your inner fulfillment comes from discovering who you are and understanding yourself better. It's almost like if you could talk to your own soul, that's what you would love to do. So, I mean, obviously, if you're drawn to this kind of video, that's the kind of person that you are, but you more so than the other piles, or at least more so than the first pile, because this is only pile 2. But yeah, I definitely get the vibe that it's almost like a relationship between you and yourself, where it's not ever gonna be, you get to a point where like, okay, I know myself, that's it. Like, you're constantly evolving and changing, and you love to watch yourself evolve and change and understand it, almost like you would understand a machine. And it's almost like I could see you talking to yourself or like interviewing yourself, like, okay, why do we feel this way? What are we evolving into right now? Almost like you're talking to another person. And there's just like a profound love that I get that you have for yourself. And sometimes, we have to separate that from like what our ego tells us, because our ego is what brings in insecurities, it's what brings in pride. But I think at a very fundamental level, you truly have a deep love for yourself and your soul. And like when you incarnated, it wasn't just like a selfish desire of like, okay, I want to do this and I want to do this and I want to do this. It was like, I want to get to know myself and I want to figure out what makes me tick, and in this life, how can I make myself feel my best? Like a lot of your fulfillment comes from making yourself feel your most whole. And it's definitely something that you've always done intrinsically, internally. Not necessarily something that, you get from other people. All these things I see are things that make you feel your best by doing them yourself, And it makes sense that of course you would have like the internal aspect as well as the external aspect. Yeah. I almost think it's funny how you feel most at peace when you're like almost in this like it's like the perfect storm, that saying, where it's like everything seems hectic, but it's like exactly where everything's going, exactly how everything's moving. And like from the outside, it looks hectic and like a storm, but it's all calculated by you. And I think that's when you feel your best, when everything is moving exactly the way that you wanted it to. Um, but yeah, again, like project managing, running a shop, being your own boss, especially if it's something that you get to do creatively, is something that I think you do best at. Like for pile one, it was all about physically moving. Like they are definitely like a runner and competitive. But for you, it's like you need your mind to be always moving. You need to always have a new problem to tackle, a new question to answer. You feel alive when your mind is always working on a new thing. Like it's almost like your mind constantly has to have its hand on a Rubik's cube and it's constantly like solving it. And it's like, okay, what can I do more efficiently to solve it quicker? Which is, I think, is very, very silly. But yeah, pile two, that's all that I see for you today. I feel like these readings have been very short, but for all I know, they're like 30 minutes or something. But that's as best as I can sum it up without like keep going on forever about the same things. If you want any personal readings, I do offer those. Those would be more specified to you individually because these are general readings for multiple people. But yeah, aside from that, if you enjoyed your reading, please think about liking or subscribing. I do post about once or twice a week. But if you don't want to do any of that, feel free to check out the other videos on my channel because that does help just as much, if not more. But yeah, that's all that I have for you here today, Pile 2. I really hope that you enjoyed your reading, and I wish you the best. I hope that you're able to follow your soul's deepest desires in everything that you do in life. But yeah, that's all I have. Bye-bye. Alright, pile 3. If you chose the dendritic agate, then this is going to be the reading for you. Now, I did pre-shuffle, and something that I think is so weird is like this is supposed to be about what is your soul's deepest desire. And first of all, like you have the tower coming out, but that also happened in like pile 1's reading too. And I'm like, what is wrong with these people? Like, why would you want the worst card in the tarot as like your soul's deepest desire? Like, do you guys enjoy pain? But no, theirs ended up having like it was understandable. Like they don't like things to stagnate. They want things to always be changing. And for you, I was so confused over it. I was staring at it for the longest time. I was like, what does this mean? But I think I have a good idea, which is like so, I mean, to each their own. I'm not judging, but it's just, I don't understand. Why would you want pain? But it has like a deeper meaning and it makes sense. Of course, like these soul readings are going to have deeper meanings that don't make sense on the surface, but getting into it. I'm gonna get to this one last, even though usually I would start with it first, but I feel like that's gonna take a little bit longer to explain. So, starting off with the Two of Pentacles clarified by creativity. I feel like you are the type of person that feels very inspired easily, but also you're very intelligent and you have ideas coming to you so fast that it's like, I feel like I should almost be telling you to keep a journal for all these like random creative ideas that come to you because I feel like you're a very creative person, and not just creative, but you are like naturally gifted to have many ideas coming at you all at once that you should be able to like write them down and save them because who knows, maybe later on in life you'll be like a famous inventor and all those ideas that you had will actually be things that people value, you know? But the reason I say this is because with this Two of Pentacles, you have this guy that's like juggling these two different ideas, and with it being clarified by creativity, I feel like you're always juggling these new ideas in your mind, and it's almost like I'm envisioning your mind as like a little factory that churns out these brilliant ideas that are so unique and like nobody has ever thought of before. Like you're so creative and you have a natural knack for thinking outside the box and thinking so differently than other people. And to you, it's like, oh, well, that was just like something that I thought of last week. But to other people, that might be like, oh my God, this is the greatest idea in like the past like 10 centuries. I don't know. But I'm definitely getting like you have a natural creative spark that many people don't have. So, for those of you that chose pile three, for the past few piles, I've been giving like ideas of careers or hobbies that might interest you based on what your soul desires, because I feel like a lot of people, they have these deep soul desires, but not a lot of people are fortunate enough to be able to actually pursue them for a living, or you could at least try out hobbies for them. But for you, I'm seeing like you could be an inventor, because you just have so many different ideas. I could see, like, in the research and development sectors of businesses like Amazon. I know Amazon can kind of be problematic, but like big businesses that are constantly thinking of different ways to innovate. It's almost like they could just stick you in a room with a piece of paper and a pen, and you could come up with like 10 different ideas that would make their company like boom like crazy. Like, I feel like inventor is a very good job for you. And not only that, I feel like you're somebody that gets bored easily and you have a natural desire to like learn many different things. So, I see you being the type to read lots of different books. Though I also get the sense that like maybe you're a little bit ADHD and you can't stay focused on one thing for too long. That's almost why you have two different pentacles going at the same time. It's because if you were just focusing on one, it's like, well, I'm getting bored of this. Where's my other one? Like, short attention span, but in those moments where you do have attention, it's like there are these sparks that create these brilliant ideas, and it's like you're just churning them out so quickly, and you're focused on multiple different tasks at once. So, in regards to jobs, I feel like jobs where you get to research things and design different ideas. I'm also thinking like you could be an educator where you get to research lots of different things and talk to many different people. Um, I don't know why I keep getting inventor. I don't know exactly how that would be applicable in the modern age, but I think you do have a natural talent for being able to think outside the box. You'd be a brilliant strategist. There are lots of different sectors of the career world where strategy is very important. I feel like, I mean, not a lot of people want to delve into politics, but I feel like you would do wonderfully in like the political realm, constantly thinking of ideas of ways to defeat certain um, opposers, but also thinking of ways to bolster the people that are around you that you're trying to work with, and you would just be able to find out different ways to make everything work. So I would say everybody's different, of course. This is a general reading, but whatever you are most drawn to, like let's say it's like video games or something, you can apply this kind of idea to that. Like you might have an idea of how to make an amazing story for the next video game that's going to come out of like your favorite video game series, or maybe you're really into like coding and you're able to think of different ways to easily integrate different new things into your favorite video game. I don't know. It's like whatever you're most interested in, you would be a brilliant person to have on the team that needs to create things, that needs to strategize different ways of developing things. I feel like you just have a natural ability to constantly think of new things. You don't stay stuck on one idea or stay stuck in a box or a single line of thinking. You're like constantly able to come up with different ideas for things. I feel like I could keep talking about that, but it would kind of just be the same thing. I'm trying to think of any other like hobbies or careers that I could think of. Um, I feel like anything that allows you to constantly be able to learn different topics and things that you know nothing about. I feel like you would love to just accumulate knowledge for fun. And if you can do that in a job, it's perfect. Or thinking up different ways to look at the same old problems, like those kinds of, I don't know if you're into math, but you, I feel like, are the kind of person that would be able to look at this problem that nobody's been able to solve and be like, oh, why didn't you just do it this way? And it's like nobody's ever thought of that before, and they're like, oh my god, you're a genius. And you're like, no, I'm just looking at it from a different point of view than everybody else is. Um, but moving on to the next set of cards, you have the Ten of Cups and Peace. And this is very different from this one. I feel like these are all very different from each other. Because I feel like, of course, everybody's soul desires different things, and you can desire more than one thing, but it's like they're very different. Um, but I think something that you really value and have always valued is family and those close to you. And, you know, for some people, not everybody is fortunate enough to grow up in a perfect family, but the family that you've built around you, even if it's just friends and other loved ones that you keep around you, experiences with them and creating memories with them is the most important thing to you. I think you might also, I don't know how old you are. For some of you, you could be, you know, past baby making days, or for some of you, it's way too early for you to be thinking of that. But you definitely seem like a very family oriented type of person, um, whether you realize it or not. Like, it's interesting because for most of my life, I've always said, like, no, I don't want children. I'm not bringing a child into this world. Um, I don't want to spend my entire life raising them. It's just such a big commitment. But now it's like I've done a complete 180, and I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, God, I really want a kid. I don't know. Maybe it's like baby fever or something, but I don't know. Basically, all this to just say, like, maybe at this current point in time, you don't necessarily want a child, but I feel like deep down, your soul is really fulfilled by just being around those you love and creating memories with them, feeling good and making them feel good, and just loving and caring for those that love and care for you. I feel like building those strong familial bonds is something that's really important to you and important to your soul. Some people, they simply just want to enjoy what life has to offer, and not saying that's bad, it's just a different outlook. Is, you know, some people want to be in nature, some people just want to create. But for you, I feel like you are perfectly content and most fulfilled when you're just, you know, napping on the couch with your kids or your partner, or, you know, it's after Christmas, if you celebrate Christmas with your family and everybody's napping and you just feel the love in the room, or you're looking at the pictures on your wall of your family and your loved ones, and those are the moments that you feel like your soul is really lit up. You know what I'm saying? That's when you feel most at peace. So we're looking at a couple different aspects here. You have what makes you feel most creative. Well, it's when you're exploring different things and you're allowing your ideas to, you know, be of use in the real world. But for what makes you feel most at peace, it's being around your family, being around your loved ones and your friends and those that mean the most to you, and making memories with them and just feeling fulfilled, feeling that happiness when everyone's together. And finally, going back to the very beginning cards, with the Tower, I feel like you in particular are you have a close relationship with God or the universe or whatever it is that you believe in. I feel like you have a very intimate relationship with your personal spiritual beliefs. Again, this is a general reading, so, you know, feel free to fill in the blanks with whatever you personally believe in. I'm probably just going to say, like, spirit and the universe, your guides or whatever, because that's what I believe in. But with the Tower moment, it's like most people look at sudden upheavals and changes and chaotic moments in their life as like, God, this is such a curse, or why am I being treated this way? But for you, you kind of have this understanding that everything happens for a reason. And even in moments of crisis and times of panic or unhappiness, you're still able to kind of flow with things. I'm almost, an analogy I like to use is like being like a river. You know, if a rock is placed in front of you, you flow around it. And it's not just you that's flowing around it. It's almost like you're letting the universe or your God guide you, because you just have this deep understanding and this strong relationship with your spiritual side. And so basically, to explain why this is one of your soul's deepest desires, I feel like at the end of the day, spirit is something that we come back to. It's before we're born and after we die. And you have such a strong tie to it that you feel your happiness. You feel your happiest when you feel that connection, because it's almost like connecting with an old friend or a long lost parent or something. It's a familiarity. And so it's definitely a little bit, metaphysical. It's not exactly in the 3D, so it's a little hard to explain, but you just have this level of faith in the universe and in your path in life. And even in hard, destructive moments, it's almost like that's when it reaffirms your beliefs the most, because you know that no matter what happens, the universe is on your side and you're going to make it through. And I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but I feel like if you understand what I'm saying, it's because you know what I'm talking about. Like, one of your soul's deepest desires is, even though you're down here in the 3D, being able to connect to the 5D, connecting to your guides or your God or the universe, feeling connected to spirit, connected to your faith is really important to you. So for some of you, I could see this as, going to church and feeling connected to that in that way. Like maybe church is something that's really important to you, or observing specific religious or spiritual practices is really important to you, because that's when you feel most connected to the divine. And even though that's not necessarily something that you do in the 3D, it's still like you just have such a strong bond to your faith or your spiritual beliefs that it just makes you feel so connected to the rest of the universe. It's kind of like a feeling of euphoria and peace that I can't really explain, but if you know what I'm talking about, you understand. So I feel like these are all such different aspects from one another, but of course human beings are multifaceted beings, so your soul, of course, is going to be even more so. But yeah, that's what I see for you. I think you definitely feel most fulfilled, and your soul's desires feel most fulfilled when you're around those you love. That's when you feel most at peace, and intellectually you just have such a knack for creativity that I feel like it would be a shame to let those talents go to waste. I feel like there is a way for you to use this creativity and use this intellect in the real world, in whatever career, whatever hobbies that you want to pursue. There's something here that you can do that will allow that to flourish, and I think that's where you will feel most fulfilled. And I hope that you can do something like that. And then lastly, of course, you feel most fulfilled when your faith is reaffirmed. Even in the darkest moments, it's like that's when you feel most connected to your faith. So thank you so much for watching if you got this far. If you enjoyed your reading, please think about leaving a like or subscribing. I do post about once or twice a week, so if you want to see more from me, then definitely subscribe. But if you don't want to do any of that, please feel free to check out any of the other videos on my channel, because that helps me out just as much. And if you're looking for personal readings, I do offer those. There's a link in the description box below to my shop. But without further ado, Pile 3, thank you so much for watching. I really hope that this helped you in any way, shape, or form. And that's all. Bye-bye.